This is a crude guide to the methodology behind distorting the green circles as the tanking Chronomancer in the Veil Guardian fight, with the intent to tank him in the center of the arena. Note that I've assumed that you're already comfortable distorting the green circles as the off Chronomancer, so I won't go into the methodology behind that in any great detail. The only piece of information that I will explain beforehand is that the blue circle mechanic will not actually teleport you if you are airborne at the time the teleport mechanic goes off. This means that if we jump during the blue circle mechanic, we'll still take damage from the attack. However, we actually won't get teleported. We are going to use this mechanic as part of our tanking process to avoid dodging and moving the Veil Guardian all from the center while still avoiding being ported by the blue circles. At the beginning of Phase 1, cast your Phantasms and Illusions like normal. However, delay the cast of your Shield 4 block to block the first instantly cast wave of blue circles. After this, proceed to dump your Quickness Rotation like normal. And after you come out and cast your Will of Action for the second time, either use the reset from your Shield block or a Blurred Frenzy to negate the next wave of blue circles instantly after. After this, dump the rest of your Quickness Rotation, and use your Signet of Inspiration to easily distort the first green circle. After this distortion, another wave of blue circles will spawn. Either jump or use Blurred Frenzy to avoid them. There will be one more wave of blue circles that spawn before you have to distort the next green. Either use Blurred Frenzy or jump to avoid them, depending on how you chose to negate the last wave of blue circles. Either way, you can distort this green circle with the Phantasm without any fear of being ported by a wave of blue circles. After you distort, once again, blue circles will spawn. Feel free to Blurred Frenzy them, jump them, or use your shield block to avoid these circles. There will be one more wave of blue circles that spawn before the phase. Negate them however you best see fit. If your DPS is good enough, you won't even see this green circle that spawned here, but if it does, know that your ability to distort it is in no way hampered by having to avoid blue circles. The 66 to 33% phase is easily the most challenging of the phases, as there is high variance in the timings of the green circle and the blue mechanic. Regardless, every time you re-engage the Veil Guardian, he will instantly cast a wave of blue circles that should be blocked with your Shield 4. After blocking, dump your Quickness Rotation. When you come out, occasionally he will cast one more wave of blue circles before entering his Break Bar mechanic. Whether he does or he does not, avoid these blue circles with a Blurred Frenzy or a block, and you will have more than enough time to comfortably distort the first green with your Signet. From here on out, you'll have to make use of Blurred Frenzy and jumping to avoid being ported by the blue circles. You can also always safely use your Shield 4 block to avoid being ported if there's more than 45 seconds left in your Continuous Split without the risk of accidentally proccing your passive Signet and messing up your distort timings. This phase is notorious for blues and greens syncing up to be uncomfortably close together. Here you see an example where I jump to avoid the blues and then instantly cast a Phantasm when I land to distort the green circle for my party. Only experience will let you gauge whether these narrow windows can be taken advantage of, or when you will need to use your F4 Shatter mid-air to distort the green for your party. Occasionally too, you will also luck out, and the blue circles and the green will sync so well that you can actually use one distort to negate both the green circle and the teleport mechanic of the blue circles. Tanking in this phase is more of an art form than a science, as there is so much variance in mechanic timings that they border on randomness. Remain collected and always know that you have one freebie distortion in the form of your F4 Shatter that has no cast time and is even castable while airborne. The final phase is nearly identical to the first phase, with the small change that you will actually not be tanking Veil Guardian in the center of the arena. This is due to a Seeker that spawns in the center of the arena exclusively during this phase that is immune for the first couple seconds of its life. Move Veil Guardian slightly outside of the center and dump your Quickness Rotation like normal. Much like the second phase, there will occasionally be a second wave of blues that spawns right before he does his break bar, but rest assured that this should in no way conflict with your ability to easily distort the first green circle. Throughout this entire phase, until the bitter end, all of the blue circles spawn comfortably enough before or after the green circle spawns that you should have no problem using standard means to avoid the blue circle teleport and having plenty of time to distort the green circles as normal. A final point I wanted to touch on before concluding the video is addressing the misconception that jumping during the Sword 4 block extends the duration of the block. All jumping during the Sword 4 block does is prevent you from casting the retaliatory bolt that summons a clone and may potentially overwrite a useful phantasm. In fact, irresponsible use of the Sword 4 block can actually be detrimental to your tanking of Veil Guardian, as if you are not decisively airborne at the time you block something, the animation will still proc and hurtle you back towards the ground to potentially get ported by a wave of blue circles. You can still make good use of the Sword 4 block to negate the damage in the blue circles you would otherwise take while jumping. However, doing so requires an intimate knowledge of Veil Guardian's attack pattern and of the timing of the blockable pulsing damage roar that persists throughout the entire fight. Thank you for watching, and please message me with any questions you might have in-game.